And I want to ask the question, which one is best? This is the old school kind, and we'll talk about the features here in a minute. This is the one I carry every single day. So, and I also brought another one. This thing is so heavy, and I love this one. I'm going to show you why in a minute. I'm going to save this one for last because this has some unique features that make it both excellent for home security and just generally an incredible self-defense flashlight. But we'll talk about that later. These live in my house, these two, and I have one of these in my house, but I also carry these with me everywhere I go. I probably have 6 or 7 of these different kinds. Some are rechargeable and some are like this. They have just 4 batteries in it. Usually it's AAA or AA. And yeah, I'm back. Can everybody hear me? Bob, it's good to see you. I'm trying a new lavalier mic tonight because the acoustics here in the garage dojo are not the best. So I appreciate you guys being here. Anyway, so this is the one I carry every single day. I love this one when you're using this for self-defense. And I carry this with me at work. I have a bag where I carry some self-defense tools and some medical gear and some other things that are really important in case something happens. But I also have one of these in case I have to go into a dark area of the place where I work, or if I'm there later at night. We have an event next week that I'll be there a little bit later. It'll be nighttime. And I want to be able to illuminate wherever I go. There are a lot of corners and it's a big campus. There are different places people could hide. They can hide things. I want to be able to see what's around there. But most importantly, if I need to, I want to have this as an option to blind somebody, to take away their night vision. So when this comes and hits somebody in the eyes, their pupils are going to dilate and they're going to be essentially blind and not be able to see. And then I'll be able to defend myself, close the distance. I'll be able to see what they have. They won't be able to see me clearly or see what I have, and I'll be able to defend myself better. So this is a great tool for that. It's also an excellent loaded fist. And so we talk about loaded fist on this channel a lot. Loaded fist being a pocket sticker, Yawara, sometimes a Kubotan, or even a roll of quarters, or a Sharpie marker, or one of those dry erase board markers. If you're working in an office or a school, you have something you can pick up, squeeze tightly in your hand, and then when you hit with so much more force because your hand is not going to compress. When you don't have that in there, everything compresses because you have bone and flesh. And then with this weighted, loaded fist, it's not going to compress. Happy Cactus, thank you so much for that gift. Happy Cactus just gave a $4 gift with a cup of coffee. I could use a cup of coffee right now. My throat's a little scratchy from being outside all day, all the pollen. I've been cooking in the sun. I keep putting on the sunscreen, but it somehow gets through and I get a little red like a lobster. Anyway, so squeezing this, I can strike a lot harder. You also have here on the back, that's where you turn it off and on. You can put your thumb through there, and then you have this bevel here, crenellated bevel, and you can see that, and this is extremely hard material, you're going to rip some flesh for self-defense. You're going to be able to strike and cause distraction. The type of strikes, in addition to a straight punch, you have, of course, a hooking punch or an uppercut. You can swing this down like an axe. You can reverse strike this way. Anytime you pull that strike out, twisting through your shoulders and hips, you're creating so much power. If you take a step when you do that, you're going to be able to knock somebody back, push them back with a lot of force. So in having this, that I want to show you that. There we go. You can see the ridges there. That just makes it hurt a lot more. And it becomes for self-defense. You want something that you're able to use effectively for self-defense. Now you can see if I back up a little bit, this one is bright. It's pretty bright in here. I had to bring in another light. We have lights all over the place because we have hurricanes down here. So I have all of these different lights that we use. But this here gets really bright. I'm not going to be able to flash you. It'll mess up the camera a little bit. But you can see it's extremely bright. Now this is the other one. And so I carry this. I carry this with me every day, but I also have them in the house. Now, next to the bed on both sides. So I have my wife's side and my side. This is the one. This is actually my wife's, but it's the exact same one. Actually, mine was just a little bit longer. For those of you old law enforcement, if you were a Marine, MP like I was, you were security forces in the Air Force, or you were Sea Patrol, or Shore Patrol, not Sea Patrol, Shore Patrol in the Navy, or you were an MP in the Army. A lot of us carried these on our belt. We were talking about the old duty belts that we all carried and how much it hurt your back, your lower back, because you had so much gear on that, especially in the old days. And then one of the heaviest things on there were these flashlights. And so when you would come up, you can see that this one is made, this is the Maglite, for those of you who want to reminisce. And this one is probably 25, 30 years old. But this Maglite right here turns on and off right there. And you would walk up to a car and you have it kind of here resting on your shoulder. And you would not immediately flash the guy in his eyes, but you would have it there so that if you needed to, if he were not complying, not putting his hands on the wheel, not rolling down the window, keeps it up, you could immediately take away his night vision, blind him with it, make his pupils dilate. And then if you had to, you can strike from this position. This becomes a very effective self-defense tool. And I have a law enforcement friend, much older gentleman down here. He told me kind of quietly one night, he said, I killed a guy with, not on purpose, but it was him or, his life or death. He was fighting. The guy had a weapon, and I think he had the bad guy had his hand on his gun, getting ready to pull it, and he instinctively struck with the old D-cell. That's what's in here, Maglite, and these are high strength aircraft aluminum. But that, you can. This other one's heavier. I'm going to show you in a second. But this one can crack a skull. This can do a lot of damage, and they have. And I'm sure he's not the only one who had that experience. And I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying that we know it's a very effective self-defense tool. So the point is, if you're in the house and you're walking through the house, and again, my main light that I carry when I get up in the middle of the night, if I hear something, and that hasn't happened for a while, it's never happened down here in Florida, but it did in Ohio. There was one night when we weren't sure what was going on, weird sounds. And, one of the things you should do if you do carry one of these, if you use one of these in your house, you should know all your sectors of fire. You should know where the kids are. You should know all your angles. You don't want to be shooting through a wall and something goes in the wrong direction and then you hurt somebody. That does happen. But you want to do that training. That's a whole different subject, but it's very important. Anyway, the point is, my main light goes on my self-defense tool so that while I'm clearing the rooms in my house, if I have to in the middle of the night, I have my light with me, and my hands, I'm not carrying one in my hand. Now, if you only have a flashlight is the tool that you choose to carry in your house. The main question of this video, and I want to hear your answer in the comment section below. So please, what do you prefer? You can put it in there now, or you can put it in after we have this discussion. You like this smaller one, and these get extremely bright now. The technology is so good. You can get one of these, you can get them to recharge, and they will blind anybody. They'll illuminate your whole house. And this is the old school. This isn't not LED. This is the old flashlight. These were always bright because of the big batteries, but these two cannot compare. You can see this is extremely bright. This is extremely bright, but then again, this one is a very strong, heavy one. So this one my wife would use for self-defense if she needed to. And you can practice just a few techniques, and then it gives you just a little bit more of a self-defense tool. Especially if you're not as strong as you used to be, then you have this heavy baton that you can defend yourself with instead of just being able to punch. So if you're big like me and you still train and you still have a lot of force when you punch, this is a great force multiplier for that punch, for the loaded fist. If you're not as strong, this is a great option because you've got the weight of the batteries coming through with every strike. You can also get two hands on it. You can smash them through here. You can thrust through here using two hands and moving and keep them from taking it out of your hand, and use the end to stick it into their stomach or stick it to their throat for self-defense, or up into their face, smashing their nose, smash the teeth down their throat. Literally, that's for self-defense. So that's this one. I wanted to show you the other one. This is the one that I carry, and I want to show you the biggest difference, which is why this is more for law enforcement, and this is this is the Husky brand. And I don't even remember where I got it because I've been looking for getting one of these. I think maybe I picked it up at a Lowe's or a Home Depot years ago. But this is extremely bright. And this allows me to do everything that this does. And you can see they're about the same length, but this one is extremely heavy. This also has the bezel on the front, or the bevel, the crenellated bevel there, that allows you to hit and create a lot of force. So this is really good for self-defense. You can also use it with the two hands. You can also punch with it. It's so much more heavier than this one is. But the biggest difference is this one has this cool feature where if you carried these like I did, you just naturally know that your thumb goes there and you can turn it on and turn it off with your thumb, which allows you to carry your self-defense tool in the other hand or your duty weapon if you were law enforcement or military police. This one, it's here on the back. And again, this is, it's I don't know if this is an alloy or this is aluminum. It feels like aluminum. It's extremely heavy. This one, I think, probably weighs maybe two times as much as the Maglite does. But you can see that this one is extremely bright. And that's because it has that new LED technology where the other one just has those old-fashioned light bulbs. And, this is just as much smaller. This has smaller batteries. This has the big D cells in it. This has the little, I think, the 4 AAAs. And there's just no comparison in brightness. So this is perfect carrying in your car, or you could also carry one of these in your car. And this is just a great, especially if you find yourself roadside, having to change a tire, you can set this up and it'll illuminate the entire night all around you. If you're walking, if you're outside, this is a great flashlight because it covers so much more area. This will illuminate. When I've walked through the house when we've had the hurricanes come through or the power goes out with the storms, you can walk through and this will light up every single room. So this is extremely bright. So that is definitely a bonus feature for home security, where again, I like this because it's so easy to carry, it's so portable. This would be great for the car too, but this isn't necessarily going to be something you would carry every single day in a backpack, or in my case, I carry a gun bag, a self-defense bag that has all my medical stuff in there, and I've got every tool. I've got so many tools. I can fix anything now on the campus, and I do. I've got glue, I've got tape, I've got any kind of Band-Aid you can imagine. I've got all kinds of medicine. I've got chest seals. I've got tourniquets. I've got all those kinds of things that are really important. And then I'm also able to carry the self-defense tools that I need, and then all the accessories that go with that. And then, of course, I have one of these in case I'm there at night, or in case I have to go. There are different big rooms that are not lit up during the day, that are not in use. If we suspect somebody's on campus who's not supposed to be there, and I need to walk through, I don't want to walk through in the dark. And the great thing about having one of these for self-defense is that, again, you're pointing this at them, and they're going to lose their night vision, but you're not going to lose your night vision unless you point at your own eyes, or you point it, like if you're standing real close and you point it up at the wall, it's going to hit that wall and reflect and take away your, it's going to shrink your pupils. You're going to lose some of that night vision. So just be aware of it. And you don't have to overthink it. I'm a big fan of not overthinking stuff, but learning how to carry one of these and use this as just an effective self-defense tool. This is one of the best self-defense tools that you can have, that you don't even have to hit anybody with. I mean, I love the idea of a loaded fist. Don't get me wrong. I mean, just holding that and knowing how hard that I can hit without it when I've had to, and then knowing what this will do if I have to strike for self-defense with this in my fist. And it's just a force multiplier. And when you extend and rotate, and then you also move in and you make contact with that in your fist, it's going to create a lot of damage for self-defense. Also, like we said, we can turn that off, so blind you again. Jab with it here, bring it into his jaw, into the top of his head, into the nose, hitting him here, and then pulling the nose down a little bit so that you can see into his brain a little bit for self-defense. Stuff like that happens. There are all these nerves in the top of the chest, striking in there, striking and pushing and hitting some of those nerves, some of those pressure points in there. There are a lot of things that you can do for that. You might even be in a chair. You might be constrained to a wheelchair, or confined to a wheelchair, and you can strike somebody as they're coming into you. You can bring it up and in. You can hit them in the solar plexus. You can hit them in the groin. You can more effectively strike them in the neck. You can turn it around. You can do all that stuff. You can swing it this way, with your arm coming this way, hitting them in the ribs. While you're sitting, that hurt, or into the neck, or into the side of the face, all for self-defense. So it's a very effective, basic self-defense tool. But Fit Outlaw says, check out Black Scout Survival Flashlight. There's so many great survival flashlights, and self-defense flashlights, and just heavy-duty flashlights. And they're this size and smaller. Sometimes they're a little bit longer. and they're not expensive. I mean, you can, if you want to, you can spend a couple $100 for a really fancy flashlight. I'm always a firm believer in invest your time before you invest your money. Get something inexpensive, like one of the links I put below. I put a link below to a really inexpensive one that's not going to break on you, that you can recharge, that's extremely bright. Practice with that. Carry that around. Practice striking with that. Go to the gym, hit the bag with it, see how that feels. And then if you want to get super fancy and spend $100 on one or $80 or whatever, then do one of those. One of these, perfect. And this is for home defense. Now, if you walk around the street carrying one of these looking for a fight, then you're going to be in trouble because you're obviously going out with the intent to hurt somebody with it. But if they break into your home, and these home invasions are becoming more and more common, and they will become a lot more common in the near future because the storm that's been brewing for a while, that's been coming offshore. We've been watching this Cat 9 hurricane coming with all these different factors, and I'm not going to go into all the politics of it, doesn't matter, but we can see crime just exploding, the type of crime, the type of violence that's coming, and they might be coming in your home. And if they come in your home, it's your right, it's your God-given right to defend your home. It's your God-given right. And man gives you some rights, but that all comes after God. God says, defend yourself. And Jesus says, turn the other cheek. That's in there too, right? And we have to learn how to do a lot of both. But when they're coming in to try to take away your life, your dignity, the life or dignity of your wife, your child, your husband, then it's your God-given right to defend yourself. And if you you have one of these, or you go old school, I still love this. This thing is, like I said, so old, but it is so effective. It's still bright. Change the batteries. That's something I want to say. That's really important. Most of you guys know this already. But check your batteries every couple of months. If you don't use it, turn it on, turn it off, but also open your self-defense flashlights and pull it out and make sure that you're not getting any corrosion. Because when these things corrode, when the battery corrodes, that acid will go in and destroy your flashlight. And the reason these flashlights last forever is that I change the batteries and we make sure that we don't have corroded batteries. And so make sure that you're keeping your gear serviced. It's like people who carry pepper spray. They've had pepper spray in their purse or in their bag or in the car for 22 years. That's expired. That probably doesn't, you probably take it out and squeeze it. Don't do it in an enclosed space. Don't test it in the house. Don't test it in your car. But if you're outside and the wind's blowing that way, you can squirt it that way, make sure it still works, because pepper spray does not last forever. And batteries certainly don't last forever. I laugh every day because there's the place where I work, they have a little shop and they got so much money there to spend on things, it seems sometimes. And they've got a whole big box of batteries and they're all corroded. And I think, wow, what a great, incredible waste of money. But it's a good reminder that batteries corrode, and especially if you don't store them correctly, but they're going to corrode in your gear, and corrode in your flashlight. If you carry a flashlight on one of these, check that thing every week. You should be, cleaning your weapon anyway. You should be just taking it apart, putting it back together. You should stay familiar with those skills. You should be practicing with it, whether it's on the range or if you have just dry firing. Some people don't believe in dry firing. I'm a big believer in it. You should practice having your hands on it, responding. How do you pull? If your appendix, if you pull here, for me, it depends on where I am and what time of the day. I carry, I've got an ankle, I carry here, and sometimes I carry here, and then often I carry in the bag. Not all at once. Sometimes I'll have the ankle and then somewhere else. But you have to practice if you're going to do that. So when you do that, if you have that light on there, make sure you every week, you pay attention. And mine, you recharge. It's a USB or whatever. So I just charge it once a week because I don't want to have to use it and then it doesn't work. So anyway, so please, this is a question. This is a discussion. If you are serious about home security and personal self-defense, if you want to be your own bodyguard, you're the executive protection agent in charge of keeping your family safe and yourself safe, and you live anywhere, whether it's a tent or a home or God bless you if you're living on the street, And I pray for you every day. You're in my prayers every day. But if you can get one of these and carry one of these, but then put in the comment section, what's your preference? Are you like me? You're going to have one of a lot of each, which I do, because I can't get enough lights. I wish I could show you the light that's illuminating the top, because I can light up the whole house with battery power, and then I can recharge them, most of the batteries, with the solar the next day when the sun comes back out. And I can keep that going for a while. I got big battery backups and all that. Anyway, solar power stations and different types of things like that. But if you have a preference for your house, which one is best? Do you like old school, heavy duty? Do you like new school, heavy duty? Do you like smaller that you can carry with you wherever you go? You have one for all purposes. You take it home. You take it with you when you go to work. You take it to school. Take it to work, or grocery shopping, wherever you go. Do you have it on you all the time to keep it in the car? And what would you prefer? Which one's best for the home? One of each? Or are you like me, where these are mostly for the hurricanes and the lights go out, and for my wife, if she needs something and she's not comfortable with this? Like I said, when I need to check the house, if I need a flashlight, it's going on the end of my self-defense tool. And I'm going to check it with that so that I'm ready to defend my family at all costs. So, and if that's your answer, please put that in the comment section below. When you guys answer these questions, when we talk in the comment section, I learn from you, you learn from me, hopefully, and then we learn from each other. And then when you hear somebody else's or read somebody else's response, respond to it and develop some friendships. I know a lot of people here have reached out to each other and made some friendships over the years, which I think is super, super cool. Anyway, you guys have been awesome. I'm going to be talking the next one we do, the next live. I'm going to have a hip replacement on Tuesday, and then I'll be out for like a couple days. I'm going to the daddy-daughter dance that weekend, so I'm going to make sure it's a short healing window, God willing. You know, with God's grace, then I'll heal fast. But we'll be back training again soon, and I'm told that I'll be able to do all the things I used to be able to do 10, 15 years ago. So I'm all excited about that. But tomorrow morning, if we can make it work, I've got a guest coming on, a new guest. We've been talking to Tim Miller a lot. We're going to bring him back and talk to him again about security, and especially senior self-defense and how you keep your family safe in times like these. And he's the Secret Service guy. The guy I'm talking about tomorrow, executive protection specialist, celebrity, high net worth people, and he's been protecting bases and generals and dignitaries all over the world for years and years in the military. This guy has just a wealth, depth of knowledge, and he's a good human being. And I love him like a brother. He's a great guy. We're going to talk to him tomorrow morning. So if you can tune in and be back in the morning, then we'll learn a little bit from my friend Carlos. Happy Cactus says, good luck to you with the operation. Thank you. Helping a lot of us. I really appreciate it. You guys help me too. Alan says, keeps the lantern type lights for room lighting, power outage. Yeah, and they're so inexpensive. And as long as you take the batteries out, and you keep the batteries fresh, and you store them correctly so that there's no humidity. You know, some people collect cigars. I don't collect cigars. I like batteries, right? I like that battery so that I can power everything when I need to. There's just a similar kind of thing. Keep the humidity low, keep them dry, store them in a place where they're not touching each other, so they're not going to constantly corrode and do all that stuff. And then when you need to, Clevin has asked if I'm a chiropractor. I'm not a chiropractor. I am a old martial artist. I've been doing it since I was a kid. Since 9 years old, I started judo. Been doing martial arts my whole life. I shifted over my focus to practical self-defense about 8, 9 years ago, and I've been going deep into that. I started with practical self-defense when I was a young Marine and military policeman, and I was asked to teach women and girls self-defense. And what we used to teach back then and what we teach now is worlds apart. I've learned so many things about like what doesn't work and what's fancy and what looks good in the movies and what sounds good in our heads, because we're all theorists until we actually fight. And I don't do any of that stuff anymore. I only want to bring you the kind of stuff that works. Anyway, yeah, may God bless and protect us all. Red Dog says, amen, and Semper Fi, Red Dog. And Clevin says, salute to you, sir. Salute to you. Salute to everybody else out there tonight. Stay safe and stay in faith. The times that we're in seem crazy. There's a reason they want us to feel this way, feel anxious, feel angry, feel disconnected, but we don't have to be like that. we can come together, we can learn from each other, we can be kind to one another, and we can get our hands up and knuckle up, buttercup, and be ready to defend, and take a posture of preparation and preparedness instead of a posture of fear and pity, self-pity, and worry, and all of the other things that go along with that. You always have a choice. You can prepare or you can perish. You can prepare or panic. And preparation is not just buying water and batteries and all that stuff. Preparation is, how do you protect your mind? How do you protect your heart? How do you protect your body? How do you protect your family? What are the things that you can do? And when you start to take action, you start to run errands, and you start to get out of the house, and you start to suck it up, buttercup, then you realize the world isn't as bad as it seems. There's just a couple of nasty, really mean, nasty people out there. And as my friend Jim Rohn always said, they sure do seem to get around a lot, right? That's why you run into them. There's just a couple, but they move around, so you're going to run into them. But you got to remember that we, the good guys, we are in abundance. We are in the majority. So be strong, keep working, keep training. I just keep training, no matter what your limitations are. I've been humbled this year and humiliated over and over again for the last couple of years, and just my body not working, not doing the things I wanted to, other areas of my life, and it's been good for me because it's given me better appreciation that we all go through the same journey. Everything kind of gets stronger, and then you plateau a little, and then sometimes you fall down and you get up, and you fall down and you get up, and then you just keep moving. You just got to keep going. Things don't always work the way they used to. You're not as fast, you're not as strong, you're not as flexible, you've lost mobility, but there's always something you can do, as long as you don't quit, as long as you don't lie down like a dog and die in your own self-pity and wallowing and whining and gnashing and gnarling your teeth and all of the things that we do when we're feeling sorry for ourselves. So you pull up your big boy pants, your big girl pants, and you go for a walk, or you go for a swim, or maybe you can't even do that. You just got to sit up straight in the chair. Maybe you can't do that. Maybe you lie in the bed and you create some stories in your mind where you're winning and you're moving forward. But whatever it is, you take it forward, and you take the fight to the enemy, and you keep fighting, and you stay in faith, and you do what you can do and not give up. And it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. And as I tell my students every single day, I want you to struggle, because when you struggle and you don't quit, you get stronger. And that's not the only truth. That's the main truth. That's the most important truth of life, is that when you struggle and you don't give up, then you get stronger. It's when you don't struggle because you're afraid of the struggle, you don't like the struggle, you're tired from the struggle, and you just quit and give up. And we've all done it. We've all been there. But at some point, when you realize it, you have to say it's okay to struggle. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to fight and not win. Because if you stay in the fight, you're going to learn from all those losses, and you're going to make some progress. Anyway, you guys have been awesome. Thank you for being patient with me. Thank you for training with me tonight. Put in the comment section below, do you like old school big D-cell Maglite? Do you like these big husky, super bright 9,000 lumens or 10,000 lumens, whatever it is, D-cell that you can defend yourself in your home with? Or are you a modern, keep it tight, loaded fist, defend yourself, take it with you wherever you go? What's best for the home for you? What's best when you go out of the house for you? Put those in the comment sections. Your answer is your answer, so it's always right. And I'll see you guys